Hello everybody. Today we'll be talking about Article 12, that is nomination of UCP 600. So let's move on to A. Unless the nominated bank is the confirming bank, an authorization to honor or negotiate does not impose any obligation on the nominated bank to honor or negotiate, except where expressly agreed to by the nominated bank and communicated to the beneficiary. So here, if the nominated bank is not a confirming bank, then that nominated bank is not compelled to honor or negotiate the document, okay? Even though the issuing bank authorizes that nominated bank to honor or negotiate the document, okay? But if the negotiating bank, if the nominated bank has good relationship with the beneficiary and has agreed to honor or negotiate the document, then the nominated bank can on its sole discretion negotiate the document. Okay, so that is what Article A says. Now let's move on to 12b. A nomination by an issuing bank for a nominated bank to accept a draft or incur a deferred payment undertaking includes an authorization for the nominated bank to prepay or purchase a draft accepted or a deferred payment undertaking incurred by the nominated bank. So here the issuing bank nominates a nominated bank, and here what the clause means to say is that the issuing bank authorizes the nominated bank to like prepay or purchase a draft accepted or a deferred payment. Like, since this clause is related with use and sell C, okay, so use and sell C means like the payment will be remitted by the issuing bank to the beneficiary bank in the near future, okay. And here prepay means like to pay in advance, okay, by an beneficiary bank to the beneficiary for the document that it has presented to the beneficiary bank, okay. And here what the clause means to say is that if the nominated bank like pays the document value to the beneficiary in the present date, okay, the issuing bank is fully liable to make that payment that has been prepaid by the beneficiary bank to the beneficiary in the near future, or it will pay that amount on the maturity date, no matter what the circumstances arises, okay. So that is what 12b means to say. Now let's move on to article 12c. Receipt or examination and forwarding of documents by the nominated bank that is not a confirming bank does not make the nominated bank liable to honor or negotiate, nor does it constitute honor or negotiation, okay. If the nominated bank is not a confirming bank, then even though that nominated bank receives the document from the beneficiary, if the bank examines or checks the document and forward those documents to the issuing bank, does not make that nominated bank liable or responsible to honor or negotiate that document, okay, nor does it establish any honor or negotiation, okay. So that's what article 12c talks about. So before wrapping up this article 12, let me give you one information about the inclusion of article 12b in UCP 600, as it was not, as this article was not there in UCP 500, okay. So there arises a few cases because of the exclusion of this article, okay. So in order to mitigate those types of problem, this article has been implemented in UCP 600, okay. So I read one case, that is the case of Banco Santander, that happened in 1997, I guess, okay. And the document value was around 19,667,000, okay. So oh, in briefly what happened was the beneficiary bank checked the document, like the confirming bank checks the document and found it credit compliant and paid the amount in advance to the beneficiary. Okay, that was around 19,667,000, and after paying the amount in advance to the beneficiary, the confirming bank presented the document to the issuing bank. The issuing bank also, what happened is, after receiving the document, after maybe around 7 days, uh, that it was informed by the applicant that there was there was a fraud done by the beneficiary. Okay, and the same message was relayed to the confirming bank, and the applicant bank, that is the issuing bank, refused to make the payment to the beneficiary. Okay, since the document has been uh, presented to the issuing bank, and the issuing bank also found the document credit compliant and sent an acceptance message, okay, that it will make the payment on this date. But before the maturity date and after sending the acceptance message, the issuing bank found the document found that the beneficiary has done fraud, and there was some problem in certificate of analysis, as informed by the applicant. Okay, so the same message was relayed to the beneficiary, and the issuing bank said that it will not make the payment to the beneficiary bank, and the case was lodged in the court, okay, by the beneficiary, and it was the beneficiary who won the case at last. Okay, so in order to mitigate these types of disputes, article 12b has been added, and the risk is fully transferred to the issuing bank and the applicant as per this article. Thank so that's all about this article 12. So hope you like this video, and if you do have any comment, please do write it down. Thank you. Have a nice day.